Hi, this is Jethro Jones, host of the Transformative Principal Podcast and Transformative Leadership Summit. I'm excited to share some teasers with you from the summit coming to you July 31st. So get on over to transformativeleadershipsummit.com and sign up for this amazing educational leadership conference. While you are there, go ahead and get the all-access pass at the special early bird rate. Enjoy this teaser with Will Parker.
I think strategically, it has to be more than just a newsletter. I think a newsletter can be an important part of the strategy, but I think it's just a part of it. I'm a storyteller, Jethro. So let me start by just first of all telling a quick story as a way to kind of create a mindset. When I was a boy, my dad liked to look through telescopes at the stars and the moon and planets. And I grew up in rural West Tennessee out in the middle of nowhere, and it was a beautiful night sky to look at constellations. And I can still remember one night as a boy when my dad set up the telescope outside and he had us looking at the moon. And something that I didn't realize even at that age until I was much older is that the moon can only one side of the moon is ever visible. And so when astronauts were able to make it into space, or when spacecrafts were first able to make it up and orbit the moon, we got to see the back of the moon for the first time, because to our naked eye or through a telescope, we can only see one side of it at any time because of how it orbits around the moon. And I've told this story before when I'm talking to other administrators about leadership, or even teachers about leadership, because as school leaders, we are in a unique position where we often can see more than one side of the moon. In a school, we get to see all kinds of sides of the issues, whether it's in teacher and student interactions, whether it's in why we're choosing a certain curriculum, whether it's why we cannot fund something. And sometimes we have the liberty to share that information, and sometimes we don't, depending on what it is. And so we are in a unique position where we can see often all sides of an issue or many sides of an issue, but we're only able to sometimes show one side. And so I think part of the challenge of leadership is that we are privy to lots of information. And I think it's important that when we understand that we have lots of information, first of all, we have to remember others don't. And so sometimes we can assume, because we know it all, that other people have that same information, or they're making judgments based on information that they should know. And I think we just have to assume that when we're stepping into leadership and communication, that most people can only see one side of the moon. And so it's our job to try to give them a bigger picture of what we can. We can't show them everything sometimes, because sometimes we're limited by confidentiality, but we can show them as much as possible of what's happening in our schools. So I think it's important, before you start talking about strategy, that you talk about mindset, because I think mindset's huge in terms of making sure that we remember other people need to see what we see. Second, I think it's important for us to be mindful, which means that as we're walking through our jobs every single day, we are looking for moments to celebrate. We're not just being managers. We're not just being instructional leaders. We're not just putting out fires, but we're looking throughout the day for moments of celebration. And that's not any different than being a parent or a husband or a friend. You look for the good things in other people that you can stop and go, man, I love that. And that's what we need to be doing as school leaders. How can we be mindful of, this is an amazing lesson that's happening right now. I bet parents would like to know this. Or this is a really great project this teacher is doing with these students. I bet parents would really like to know this. Or I cannot believe that student just performed like that in front of the school or gave this speech. I bet parents would really like to know that. Or I bet the community would. Or I bet other students would. Or I bet teachers would like to know their teacher down the hall was doing this. Can you tell I'm kind of excited?